Music and the Brain by Elizabeth Frasciello. What is the purpose of music education? I believe the purpose is different between people who are musicians and those who do not aspire to make music a large part of their life. Music education is important in order to create a strong, well-rounded musician who is acquainted with their instrument, has an appreciation for music and music history, and is well educated in theory and musicianship. But what about everyone else? Let's take a look. What does music actually do for us? Music is an innate sensation and contributes to neural development. This natural and beneficial inclination should be harvested and allowed to grow through music education. Everyone reacts to music, from babies to adults, and most people aren't taught to like music, or to dance when music is played, or to sing along to the radio. It's natural. There's something within humans that attracts us to music on a subconscious, psychological level. What many people don't know is that the subconscious effect of music plays a helpful role in our neural development. Let's start with some background information. What parts of the brain does music actually activate? Well, during sight reading, singing, and playing instruments, all four lobes and the cerebellum are active. The frontal lobe is associated with reasoning, planning, parts of speech, movement, emotions, and problem solving. The parietal lobe is associated with movement, orientation, recognition, and perception of stimuli. The occipital lobe is associated with visual processing. The temporal lobe is associated with perception and recognition of auditory stimuli, memory, and speech. And the cerebellum regulates coordination of movement, posture, and balance. Notice that this is specific to while playing music. Passive listening has fewer effects that are generally short-term, but exercising these musical muscles extends the long-term effects. So how does activating these lobes actually do anything? Let's begin with the youngest, babies and young children who listen to music in the womb and during early childhood. Because of the frontal and parietal lobe, they have a stronger sense of movement. The cerebellum is extremely helpful in this field because it coordinates movement, posture, and balance. The temporal lobe gives a stronger grasp on speech and memory. Therefore, babies who listen to music in the womb and after birth have better and faster motor, linguistic, and intellectual development than those who do not listen to music. And what about teenagers and adults? Well, from hormones and teenage drama to work and stress, music can perhaps be most obviously used for emotional stimulus and release. Music has the power to make us dance and smile, the power to bring us to tears from beauty, and the power to keep tears flowing when we are upset and emotionally vulnerable. In addition to emotional effects, music works both sides of the brain. The simultaneous left and right brain action maximizes learning and retention of information. The information being studied activates the left brain, while the music activates the right brain. Also, activities which engage both sides of the brain at the same time, such as playing an instrument or singing, cause the brain to be more capable of processing information. It also increases spatial reasoning used in puzzles, as well as reasoning skills used in math and English. This effect of music is not to be confused with the idea that music improves other areas of learning, such as subjects taught in schools like language and science. I believe in the idea that other subjects teach for the subject, while music teaches for the brain. This is a major driving point in my philosophy of music education. Although I absolutely recognize the beauty and passion of music on its own, there is a stronger underlying purpose. My belief basically means that general education subjects in school, like history and science, are meant to teach you exactly that. We take physics classes to learn about forces. We take U.S. history classes to learn about important presidents and the impact of wars. But in music, not only do we learn theory and how to play an instrument, we also exercise and mold our brains in a healthy, significant way. Why do we have to be active? Can't we just listen?
No!
As I stated before, passive listening is a short-term exercise, while playing has a long-term effect. Dr. Wilson, professor of neurology at the University of California School of Medicine, once said that through music, people become an active participant in their own physiological development. I think this poses an astounding and beautiful opportunity, which leads me into my next idea. As a musician with limited musical background and a student who aspires to teach elementary music education, I believe music education should begin from a very young age. Just like mothers who have their unborn child listen to music, all children deserve to start exercising and developing their brain from the start. It's not hard. For example, hand games are popular among children.
Ew. Are we going?
If preschoolers and kindergartners can play hand games and sing a song while doing so, they are ready and able to begin music education. I went to a private preschool at my church, and I actually took classes like science and French. I'll admit I also had nap time, but one of my classes was sign language, and even though I was very young when I learned the signing for the song Jesus Loves Me, I still remember the majority of it today. And this is a personal example that goes to show how very young children can grasp these ideas. I don't aim to misinform, so I should be a little clearer. Not all types of music hold the same intense effect. Classical music is complex and most known to lead toward brain development, but I think it's impossible to sing and play classical music, especially appreciate classical music, without the correct education. But the things that we learn in elementary school, like clapping the beat and singing children's songs, are all ideas children can understand. And if these are concepts that will give them a foundation to study more complicated styles of music, such as classical, then as educators, we deserve to build them these stepping stones to a strong psychological development. Almost all children respond to music. Music is an open sesame, and if you can use it carefully and appropriately, you can reach into that child's potential for development.
In conclusion, my name is Busy Frasciello, and I love music education!